Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to dive into some tips for your Instagram Reels captions. So if you've ever wondered what should even be in a caption of an Instagram Reel, how do I write one, is it the same as a photo post, all of those things, we're going to cover all of that in this video. Real quick, I do have a free class on Instagram Reels I would love to invite you to. You can watch it at any time completely for free. The link is right below this video on how to grow your reach, followers, and customers with Reels. And now let's go ahead and jump in. When it comes to your Reels captions, there are three things that I think are really important to keep in mind and that are just three really good best practices for Instagram Reels captions. The first one is to include a call to action. So when it comes to Instagram Reels, you will honestly have more flexibility than even like photo posts when it comes to creating captions that are either short or long. And you can go on the really short side or on the really long side. And we're gonna go in depth on that here in a second. But regardless of what you do for your caption, make sure you're including a call to action. I've seen this work really well on my Reels that I have created and just for my students, and this is what I teach, is to make sure you're including a call to action, whether that is comment below with any more other questions that you have. Make sure to save this video, like this video, follow along for more, different things like that to get them to, engage with your account. And sometimes people just need that invitation, that little reminder that they can hit like, so it really does help a ton to build that engagement. The second thing, or best practice for your captions, is to make sure that you're writing in your brand voice, aka however you would normally talk. Make sure that you are writing your caption as if you're talking to a friend. Try not to make it too formal, especially in the world of, marketing yourself online, wanting to be personable, having a personal brand, which we've talked a lot about on this channel already, but make sure that you are, writing in your voice and then it sounds like you. It doesn't sound like a robot or just like anybody could have written it. Make sure when someone reads it that they feel like they're talking to a friend, feel like they're talking to someone that they can totally trust. The third best practice is to not make your entire caption just hashtags. Okay, so I see this a lot, probably more on TikTok, but also on Instagram Reels, is not writing anything in the caption and literally just putting a bunch of hashtags, which number one, I'm not as big of a fan of hashtags as you might think. I just don't think that they're as effective anymore. But two, I think it looks a little bit spammy. And I think that, even just creating a one line, like, if you love this video, be sure to save it. Like, it at least creates a conversation and creates engagement and encourages them to engage instead of just having a bunch of hashtags. So if I am using a bunch of hashtags, like more than one or two, I prefer dropping them in a comment on the reel after I post the reel and not like in the actual caption, if that makes sense. So just makes it a little bit cleaner, makes the caption not feel as spammy, even if you do have like some written words and then hashtags at the end. I prefer just to keep most of those in a comment. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about what I mean by short versus long captions. So I feel like one of the beautiful things about Reels is it came from TikTok, right? So TikTok kind of came first when it comes to short form video. And if you're familiar with TikTok at all, you can't really write a very long caption. They actually just extended it and you can write something a little bit longer than you used to, but it used to just be very, very short. And so you're very limited on the amount of characters you could create in your captions. And so when it comes to Reels, I think that, overlaps into Reels too, in that you don't have to always write this super long caption. You don't always have to come up with all of these thoughts when it comes to a video, but you can create something really, really short. So for example, like I already shared, a caption can simply be a call to action. Like you don't have to write anything except your call to action, or maybe you just a little like follow-up comment or follow-up, thought on your reel that you just posted. Like it can be one sentence, two sentences, like super, super short. When I'm talking about long captions, this is what I mean and what, a lot of Instagram gurus tend to talk about when it comes to especially photo posts and making sure you're creating long captions. So typically you'll have like a hook at the beginning and then you'll have the meat of the caption and then maybe the call to action is at the very end. And basically when it comes to these long captions, this is where you're really maybe fleshing out what you mean by what you're talking about in the reel. Maybe you are, further explaining things. Maybe you're bringing them into the conversation a little bit more. Maybe you're explaining a little bit more about you and what you do. Maybe you're taking that opportunity to just connect with your audience more and share a story. It can be really helpful to just further like draw out what the reel is that you're creating, whether it's giving them even more tips or whether it is explaining something more or something along those lines. So it can be very, very helpful to have a long caption for that reason. And also, it can also be helpful to just reiterate what you put in the reel. Some people just prefer to read a caption. They don't want to have to sit there and screenshot a reel or tap and hold on a reel to have to read it. So just having it almost in another format can also be really helpful for people and for more people to be able to digest what you're saying in your Instagram reel. If you haven't already, be sure to join the free Reels class. I think you guys are really going to love it. If you're trying to figure out Reels, trying to decide what you're going to do with them, that class is going to give you a really good starting base on how to actually use it to grow online. And I also want you guys to comment below with any questions you have about Instagram Reels. So if there's anything that you would like to see on this channel coming up, if you have any other questions about Instagram Reels that we can cover for you, maybe some new updates that you're wondering about, be sure to comment below, because as I come back from maternity leave and start filming these videos again, I really want them to be helpful for you guys, and we're going to be focusing still a lot on Instagram Reels and how to use them. So be sure to let me know if there's anything that we can help you with and how we can best serve you guys, because we are just so grateful for every single one of you in this community and all of you that follow along. It's just so fun. So thank you guys so much for being here. And if you haven't yet, we also did launch a podcast. So if you're someone who has been following along for a while, or maybe you are brand new, but we would love to invite you to come and hang out there too, and to follow along on the podcast. And we're going to be creating or not filming, oh my gosh, it's not a video, recording episodes on a weekly basis, and it's going to be a little bit more listener based. So what I mean by that is for those of you guys who are asking questions and giving feedback, we're using that to really drive a lot of what we put on there. And there's just some topics that are just a lot easier to sit down and record for a podcast than it is to record an entire video, because sometimes those videos end up being like 40 minutes long and just like way too long, which can work on YouTube, but we prefer to keep these videos a little bit more bite-sized. So the podcast is a place where you can just tune in and listen wherever you are on the go, whether you're cleaning or driving or whatever, and it'll be a little bit more even in depth, where I can sit down and really flesh out a topic for you guys where I'm getting questions from you guys. So be sure to tune into that as well. We'll have a link right below this video where you can check it out and tune in wherever you listen to podcasts, and I will see you guys in next week's video on Tuesday. Bye guys.